Hey guys, in this video I'm just going to go over my Hota barb that I've been playing in Season 2. It's pretty much what I think is the best and very highly recommend if you're going to play barb that you level with this. It's very well rounded, very easy to play, you can't really mess it up, and you can start playing it from pretty much level 1. You just need the quaking aspect from Skosglin, which you can get from for the codex. So I'll just kind of like run through the whole thing here and show you all my stuff and my setup here. Alright, so I'll just kind of go over my gear, my skills, and then my Paragon, just kind of show you the concept of what's going on here. So just a basic Hota barb, but with some of the Season 2 stuff. So we're scaling some Overpower, and we're doing some new stuff that they've added in the game. So I'll just go through the whole gear. My gear's kind of, not very optimal, and I've been kind of figuring out stuff as I go. So cooldown reduction on the helm. You would like Max Fury here. Life is good. I just have double res, but probably Max Fury instead of one of these res would be preferred. We got the, what is this called? The of Might. So basic skills, extra DR, really good. Numbing Wrath on the chest, the extra fortify generation. I don't have the, I forget what it's called, Warbringer from the Paragon, so this pretty much is my primary source of fortify generation. This chest is kind of bad. I'm just using it for filling out resistances. Obviously, a bunch of true damage reduction or damage reduction while fortified are really good. Distant is okay, but it's not that great. But honestly, the game is tuned super easy, so it's not that big of a deal. But I would prefer a bunch of DR/armor related stats here instead. My gloves. You want the Hota, you want the crit. Attack speed's good. I forget what I want on the last slot. Probably like crit, either like crit while injured or something like that. Lucky hit's good too, so it's just like that fourth slot is kind of whatever, but crit, attack speed, Hota ranks, good. Then I have my Hota power here. You can also put this on the weapon or the amulet depending on kind of like what you have available to you, but that's where my Hota power is right now. Disobedience, really good for capping that armor over on versus high level monsters. These pants are pretty well rolled. They're helping me fill out resistances, and all the other rolls are very high values though. Those are pretty close to ideal looking pants. Maybe the lightning res could be another DR or something. Get my more lightning res somewhere else. Boots. Fury cost reduction, movement speed, and then 2 resists here. Fury cost, movement speed are primary, and you want the 3 evade charges on the implicit from the boots. Then the Ghost Walker power for the extra movement speed for when you're unstoppable and all that stuff. So it's really good. Weapon, I just have my Edge Masters here. You can probably put your Edge Masters on your amulet if you don't have the unique one. I'll show that in a second, but there's a couple variations of like where you can put your powers. There's a lot of stuff that you can take advantage of. There's like that new, kind of like the Convention of Elements one. You can use that. You can use Expectant. I don't use either of those because I don't have the slots, but there's stuff you can use. But like Limitless Rage, which is on my other weapon, is probably prio number 1 for your powers. You're going to want Edge Masters somewhere, if not on your amulet, on your other weapon. Hota Quake power can go on your third priority thing, so it's kind of like Limitless Rage, then Edge Masters, then Hota power. I think that's like the 1, 2, 3 combo. You can also use this Overpower if you really want to see really big numbers. You can put the Overpower on one of your 2-handers if you want, but mathematically it doesn't really average out to being better. But have the Overpower here. It's kind of meme because a lot of the time it will get consumed by your left click, and you got to kind of like offset it, and that's like too much work for this game, honestly. So this, you can switch it out with another power if you prefer, but I just like seeing more Overpowers, so I have it here. And then it's a lot of left click, right click gameplay repeatedly back and forth, so you're constantly switching your weapons. Crit strikes for core speed, attack speed here, pretty good. Those are kind of like your offensive powers. This is a new amulet they added. Drops from Duriel pretty often, I think. All the stats are pretty good, minus the Overpower damage isn't that big of a deal, but it does help. So resource gen plus ranks to Hota and a lot of crit chances, which is really good. So this is just like multiplicative Overpower damage, and that critical strikes that Overpower deal. That affects all of your Overpowers, let alone on top of the part where it gets you more Overpowers from spending resource. Really, really good for Hota. Basically, like every 6 Hotas, or every 5 Hotas, your 6th Hota will be a crit or Overpower guaranteed. So really, really good. Ring Pariah, we got our standard Cookie Cutter, Bold Chieftain, and Echoing Fury. So, stat Pariah is probably Crit Chance, Max Fury, and then Resource Gen. I don't have ideal rings here. This ring's pretty close. Crit Chance, Max Fury, Resource Gen, and then kind of like a filler 4th mod probably. I think you can get Overpower damage on rings, so it's probably Overpower damage. You're just... like, your your overpowers are gonna do the majority of your single target damage, and then, like, your crits are just gonna kill all the trash mobs anyway, so you don't, like, really need to super invest into generic damage. I would just probably invest more into overpower damage. So, like, this close damage, I'd probably rather have overpower on it. Life is a good roll, too, but the game is kind of tuned really strange. It's really easy right now, so that's just how Season 2 is tuned, I guess, but, you know, that's that. I have the luxury, because my resist are cap. I'm playing hardcore. You could probably get away with playing with like 30-40 resist all without ever worrying about dying, honestly, but I'm just kept res. High armor from skulls. I like playing with high armor, high res, hardcore, whatever. Still easy. It's kind of the generic gear. Expertise, we got Axe expertise, extra vuln damage, and then the vampire powers here, I'll kind of go over them. So this gives us some crit and fortify stuff. Very good. We want to crit more with our Hota. This is like applies Vampiric Curse, which also in synergy with this applies vulnerable, so some multiplicative vulnerable damage extra, which also we're getting more multiplicative vulnerable damage from our Axe expertise, 200 Axe expertise. So those all 3 things kind of synergize together. So our vulnerables are pretty impactful, and we apply that curse a lot. This is really good for max scaling life. This practically one-shots a lot of trash mobs. Just you tap something and then all the weak mobs on the screen just instantly die. It's kind of silly, but that's how it works. This is just to give us more overpowers. Some other powers you could use. I forget what they're all called. There's like, I think it's this one. This one gives you an absurd amount of attack speed. If you want to put that instead of here or something like that, you can. If you want to play that way. There's some other stuff in here you could use more, you know, if you want more Wrath, whatever. You can customize this however you want. The game's pretty easy. You have a lot of flexibility if you want. Quality of life, whatever. Skills. So, Lunging Strike. You could use Bash for more overpowers, but it's just the quality of life, just like kind of like teleporting the targets. With my left click, I just prefer this. This technically would be a lot more DPS, but I don't really care. We do way too much damage anyway. This is just a very, very well-rounded build. It's good for everything, and with no weaknesses, good on bosses, good at killing trash really fast. Like I said, very highly recommend this if you're wanting to play Barb. This is the Barb build probably to start with, and it took me to 100 pretty much effortlessly. I tried some other builds pre-level 15. Once I switched to Hota, the game was genuinely more than twice as easy, so unfortunately we're back to Hota, but whatever, it is what it is. Hota, standard stuff. We want this 1% more damage per Fury. We're rocking, what, 186 Fury, max Fury, so that's like 186% more damage, assuming we have max Fury. Our triple shout stuff, we got this. They buffed these, they're a little bit more value, pretty good. I have no points, pressure points. I'm getting my vuln from that like vampiric stuff, so challenging shout. You can put a point here if you want challenging shout. It makes that little hemo thing, the vampire power, kill the trash mobs more often. Booming voice, obviously, a little bit of regen, just 1 point, sure. I did have this because I was doing some bossing, but typically you want this. But if you're doing just like a single target thing, that helps to get you more fortify. Slaying strikes is actually pretty good for some damage, but realistically these are like my 3 least valuable points. They can kind of go wherever, they're just there right now. We want Pit Fighter, we want our fortify stuff down here maxed out, minus this thick skin isn't worth it. Heavy-handed shouldn't math out very well for much damage. It's probably like 1% more damage per point if you want to put them there. You're better off putting them probably in Tempered Fury for max Fury. And then Wallop, really good, and Brute Force, really, really good. These are really good. It's kind of like Overpower centric. The Overpowers, like, they nerfed our numbers or whatever, but our Hota's hitting harder than it's ever hit, so weird and good job. And I just don't think their math is good. Like, why are we hitting harder than we ever have before for like Hammer of the Ancients? Makes no sense, but whatever. Unbridled Rage, I've heard some stuff about this might not be ideal, and like it's not working as intended anymore. I don't know, I haven't fully tested everything, but this is what I'm using right now. Unbridled Rage, good. So, Furious Impulse, this weapon swap, since I said before we're left-click, right-click spamming, I can show the case that here in a second. We generate an absurd amount of Fury per left-click, and then Wrath of the Berserker for, you know, the Wrath of the Berserker stuff. You can use Call the Ancients on, like, low gear levels, like your, you know, pre-level 60-ish kind of setup, somewhere around there. Call the Ancients might feel better for you, and probably is better for you, pre-level 60-ish around there, somewhere around there. And then we got some Tempered Fury, like I said. Paragon stuff, this is kind of probably not 100% optimal, but it's pretty good. You can probably follow this. It's probably like 80%, 90% capability, like getting good mileage out of it still. Could use a little bit of tweaking probably, but it's pretty good, so. First board. So the thing with all the math of like, the problem with the math of this game, another thing is like, because we have so much additive damage coming from Overpower, you see here it's like 1400. The amount of damage that we're getting for filling out things on our Paragon board is so small and tiny that it's just like getting the benefits of things that are multiplicative, and like getting 20% increased damage when you're working with a base of like 2000% is like less. Like this node here probably gives me about, like, on average 1% damage at best, and that's like a big node, and that's like kind of lame. And I don't know, I could rant about the math in this game, but it is what it is. So anyway, we're just kind of coming up here to get this glyph. Overpower, our Overpowers deal 30% more damage, so I mean, just based off that, revolving around Overpower, this node is more than 30 times stronger than this node from a damage perspective. Sure, is what it is. Fill out that, come up here, we're taking, this is the Weapon Master board. I'll just go over this one because I'm right here anyway. So this has been greatly buffed. So this plus this is a lot of Fury, basically. And it multiplies by all your resource gen. So even without any, I'll show it right now. So even without any, like, Shouts or Wrath of the Berserker or anything that increases my resource gen, just kind of like my stock character right now at this level, whenever I, attack, let me let these Shouts run, and I'll show it. So my right click is now going to be weapon swapping because I have my two one-handers at right now. So when I Hota, it's going to consume my stuff. But when I left click, now that I'm on two-hander, I'm gaining about 20 Fury, and that's not even with my Shouts up. And this is true whenever I also Hota. And then I left click, get 20 Fury back. So basically when I'm like actually playing, I'm just constantly generating an absurd amount of, it's like 20 to 30, in some cases more, depending on what buffs I have up, 20 to like 30 Fury per every single time I attack, whether it be my left click or right click, pretty much. Just constantly generating a lot of Fury, so it feels really nice. You basically don't run out of Fury while playing. So that's this plus the skill tree thing. It's really nice. Standard Marshal here for our Shout stuff, Bold Chieftain, all that stuff. Then we're coming over here to the Warbringer. You could fill this out, but I mean, the game is really easy, like I said. I just have, like, you know, this Max Fury stuff is really good DPS mileage for Hota, just Hota synergy. A little bit of res here. I don't even know if I even need this res. I might be overcapped, but whatever. That's how my board's filled out right now. More Max Fury stuff over here. Come up here. This is Decimator, I think. Decimator board, yeah. Decimator got buffed. We're just kind of getting, like, damage reduction from our glyphs. Or multiplicative damage from our things. And like I said, these nodes mathed out on a Overpower build. They're just so absurdly weak. The ones that give damage. It's like 1% damage, like I said. It's pathetic damage. Because our Overpower additive damage is, you know, in the thousands. And adding another 10-20% is almost nothing. So, but this is multiplicative damage. This is pretty nice. Synergized with Vulnerable and Overpower. We're doing a lot of that. Constantly overpowering and constantly applying Vulnerable with our Vampiric Curse. This board, I don't know what this board is. It's Bonebreaker. This node is incredibly strong. If you want to play this, like, you probably use this, either your second or third board, honestly. Like, if you're kind of, like, leveling up, like, I'd probably put it here and rush this node if you're playing this, because these Overpower Hotas are going to proc all the time, every 12 seconds, and they're going to one-shot all your rares and bosses, pretty much, or very close to. So, I'd probably put this, like, your third board. You can, like, kind of, you know, this isn't what my level 60, 70 board looked like. I moved some stuff around, but you know, taking the DR here. I got the, what is this, territorials, what is it? Yeah, territorial damage reduction stuff. Filling out our stuff, getting the, basically just rushing the requirement, only going up to 25 and just not investing any more into it. Just meet the requirement to get the second bonus, the multiplicative bonus, and then dock leaving pretty much. Come through here just to grab this. Like I said, I also took this little bit of extra rest stuff. Bonebreaker, really good. Up here, we got the Carnage node. I would take this, but I just actually don't have enough points. And then this is where my exploit is right now. Typically, probably prioritize in order. Exploit first, always. Marshal second, and then kind of like start filling out other stuff. Like maybe you get Crusher next, or Mortal Draw. Mortal Draw is extremely good for. It's like 18% additional crit, basically, because we're constantly swapping weapons. There's a lot of left-click, right-click synergy to get all these buffs. You can generate a lot of fury and stuff like that. There is an angle that probably is a fair bit better to scale into, I think it's the Blood Rage. Yeah, Blood Rage. And you scale damage while berserking. There's a lot of opportunity to get damage while berserking, but that's like kind of a whole avenue of different gearing and setting up. But it probably is a stronger build. Stronger way to scale up this character, because that's like multiplicative damage. You would just get like increased damage while berserking on a lot of your gear. All stats really good. I didn't go over the weapon stats, I forgot, but all stats, strength, really good for your damage. Overpower, this mod right here on this weapon is really good mileage on this build. It's basically like strength, priority, by strength, overpower damage, all stats, and then like some other like low conditional, like, you know, like damage while close or close while something like that. Or you could go like I said, that damage while berserking angle and just get damage while berserking on all your weapons. This character's gear isn't like super crazy optimized, but it's pretty good. He does everything very comfortably, and he's not a headache to play. It's very low effort to play this character, and I think that's one reason why I've played a handful of builds in this game, and a lot of them take a lot more effort, and they're like kind of a headache, and you're just like waiting on cooldowns or like Giga Resource Starve all the time, and this character doesn't deal with too much of that at this stage. It's pretty cozy, brain off kind of gameplay, and honestly, I kind of prefer it when I'm playing this game. So that's my character. I don't know if I'll make a D4 like link for this. Just look at my thing here in the video. Sorry, GG. That's my video though. GG. Thanks for watching.